and a narrow waist and slim hips, but he looked like a cold, hard, domineering man. And as his eyes searched her face, Alice blushed slightly and instinctively moved closer to her father for protection. Most of the people in the ballroom were familiar to Alice, as they all came from the county. She was surrounded immediately by her female friends, all chattering about this and that in a breathless way, as their eyes slid past Alice to the doorway, where the Duke was receiving the last of his guests. "Will he dance with me, do you think?" asked Lucy Farringdon, a bouncy brunette with sausage curls. "Mamma says one of us must catch him quick before turning him over to the competitions of the London season. But you don't need to worry, Alice. You have your Sir Gerald." "He looks quite a frightening gentleman," said Alice. He has decided to join the guests in the ballroom." The Duke stood in the doorway, tall and remote in black coat and black evening breeches. Diamonds glittered in his cravat and on the buckles on his shoes. How very grand all the guests looked, thought Alice. Everyone had put on their very best clothes. Newly cleaned jewels, family heirlooms, winked and sparkled, sending prisms of light dancing across the polished floor. Where had old Lady Dunster found that enormous collar of diamonds and sapphires? And Mrs. Stables was wearing a heavy medieval necklace of huge stones, so badly cut that trapped light slumbered darkly in the depths of their unfaceted surfaces. All the ladies' waistlines followed the current fashion of being somewhere up under the armpits. Even the genteelly poor Harris sisters, although one could easily see how, in their case, unfashionable dresses had been inexpertly altered for the occasion. Alice, as befitted a debutante, was dressed in white muslin trimmed with priceless lace. She wore a simple necklace of coral and gold and a Juliet cap, all the rage, embroidered with bugle beads and rhinestones. Lucy grabbed her arm and said, "He is walking toward us, the Duke! Oh, I hope he asks me. I'm sure Papa would double my pin money if only he would ask me." Alice was aware that her parents had materialized at her side. She was aware of tension emanating from them. The Duke stopped and bowed. "My compliments. Mr. and Mrs. Lacey," whispered a neat young man at his elbow. "Ah, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Lacey. We are neighbours." "My daughter," said Mr. Lacey, giving Alice a nudge in the back. Alice curtsied, and the Duke bowed. "I would deem it a great honour, Miss Lacey," he said, "if you would have this dance with me." Alice curtsied again. He held out his arm in a commanding way, and she placed the tips of her gloved fingers on it. He led her to the centre of the floor, aware of the buzz and hum of gossip. The dance was the Sir Roger de Coverley, an energetic affair, and so, thought Alice with relief, gave little chance for conversation. It lasted half an hour. The Duke danced well and gracefully, but Alice was all too aware of watching jealous eyes. She wished with all her heart Sir Gerald had not fallen ill. They would have gone in for supper together. They would have chatted easily. She would have felt at home with him, basking in the glittering admiration in his black eyes. When the dance came to an end, she sank down in a curtsy. "You dance excellent well, Miss Lacey," said the Duke. He held out his arm. Alice realised that, of course, she would have to promenade around the floor with him until the next dance was announced. "I was not aware," he said, "that I had such a beautiful neighbour." "You are too kind, Your Grace." "But we must rectify that situation, must we not? I plan to entertain more." "You will be extremely popular," said Alice. "Mostly we all wait until the London season for our pleasures." "Ah, you've had a season, and still unwed. Are the gentlemen of London blind?" Alice opened her mouth to tell him about Sir Gerald, but the voice of the major domo sounded out, announcing the next dance. "Alas, I must dance with someone else," he said. His odd eyes glinted down at her. "You must honour me again with a supper dance." "Thank you, Your Grace," said Alice in a hollow voice. Her hand was immediately claimed by another partner. She was very popular, and after the next dance was over, was immediately surrounded by a crowd of gentlemen, competing to see which one she would favour with a dance. Alice laughed and teased and flirted, as any young lady was well trained to do. But then she heard her father's voice, asking her for a word in private. He led her away from her courtiers to where her mother was standing. "My pet," said Mr. Lacey, "what did the Duke say to you?" "He paid me some pretty compliments," said Alice, "and asked me for the supper dance." "Ah," said Mr. and Mrs. Lacey in unison.